Welcome to Brains Uncorked, the speaker series by Coriolis. Dr. Oghenevwarho Ojakovo is an assistant professor of music and the director of the Center for the African Diaspora, Sacred Music and Musicians at California State University, Dominguez Hills. Before his appointment in spring 2024, Dr. Ojakovo worked at the Department of Music, the Department of Women's and Gender Studies, and the Faculty of Nursing at the University of Alberta, Canada. Dr. Ojakovo holds a PhD in ethnomusicology from the University of Alberta, Canada, and he is a Killam Graduate Laureate of Canada. His talk is titled Religious Songs and Identity Formation of African Immigrant Communities in Canada.
The question that came to my mind is, which I need to unravel. How do I, as a black person, come to Canada? And how do the black people I see in Canada came to Canada? In the US, it is very straightforward. We're talking about the transatlantic slave trade that brought people from Africa down to the United States. And also those who came as a result of voluntary migration. But what about Canada, which we don't talk about? But people came through different routes and through different means. And the first means of black coming to Canada, we have to look at it, and that has to do with the first phase of black presence in Canada. That has to do with what we call the transatlantic slave trade that moved people from Africa down to Canada itself, and that started within the 16th to the 18th century. Then we have the second presence of black people who moved from the United States now, for example, fleeing slave trade, fleeing the plantation through the underground rail track, moving north to Canada. Do you feel welcome? Don't you think you are an invisible minority within that space? So that space, the religious space in itself, became an institution that stereotyped the black people. The blacks were not allowed to sit on the same space with the white folks. Instead, they created a gallery where black people were allowed to sit. Black were not allowed to be a pastor. And instead, they would teach a new theology. The theology that everyone is created equal. But at the same time, within the space of the church, there lies segregation. So through that Shiloh, new form of song have been performed that became a strong bond that binds people within the African community together and also with their homeland. So what that creates is that it creates a culture that, even though I am away from Africa, by religion, I'm still connected to Africa.
Dr. Karina Sanchez is an assistant professor of biology at California State University, Dominguez Hills. She's a behavioral ecologist who studies how wildlife adapt to life in cities. Her research examines how noise, light, heat, and urban development shape animal behavior, from birds adjusting their songs to coyotes navigating human-dominated landscapes. Bridging ecology and environmental equity, her work also explores how social systems influence biodiversity and access to healthy urban ecosystems. Her talk is titled How City Life is Rewriting the Rules of Animal Behavior.
So I want you to imagine noise in urban places. It's probably going to be traffic or like a lawnmower or something. All of that sound is very low, right? Low pitched, low frequency. Birds also really like that low pitch and low frequency space. So now when they're existing in a world of lots of noise, they get lost. They get masked by the noise and you can't be heard. So we're finding that they're changing their songs. They no longer sing in that low frequency. They sing up here at a higher frequency in the hopes that they are being heard. We all respond to light coming up, going away, coming up, and going away. And so do birds. If they don't get to have curtains that are nice at blocking the light outside, right? And so they're being exposed to light all the time. And we're starting to see the repercussions of that. We're seeing that they are taking advantage of it, right? There's light, I'm gonna keep eating. I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna keep hunting because I can see insects at night. I'm gonna feed my babies as much as I can. So they're taking advantage of it. But that also means they're not sleeping. So scientists are finding that they're changing their activities. Their daily activities are changing. And overall, that leads to really poor condition of an individual, which means they may not make it to the next year. Right? And these are the adults. They may not make it to the next year.
Dr. Nancy L. Segal is a psychology professor and director of the Twin Studies Center at California State University, Fullerton. She received a BA degree from Boston University and MA and PhD degrees from the University of Chicago. She has authored over 300 scholarly articles and 9 books. Her 2012 book, Born Together, Reared Apart, won the American Psychological Association's William James Book Award. Her 2021 book, Deliberately Divided, became a 2022 BBC film. Her latest books, which came out in 2023, are The Twin Children of the Holocaust and Gay Fathers, Twin Sons. Dr. Segal's work has been featured widely, including in The New York Times, Atlantic Monthly, The Oprah Winfrey Show, Good Morning America, The Today Show, CNN, and NPR. Her talk is titled Twins, the Science and the Fascination.
And so, being a fraternal same-sex twin, and yes, I am a twin, I thought about what it was like when my sister and I were first separated at 4.5 years of age in kindergarten. The experience was completely traumatic for me, and my sister hardly even noticed it. When I wrote this essay, I loved the writing, I loved the reading, and I got an A for the paper, and I knew that was it. Forever, I was committed to twin research, and I just loved it, and I felt those academic juices flowing. And I will say that one of the most surprising findings was in the area of personality, because we found that identical twins raised apart were as similar as identical twins raised together, which is completely counterintuitive. You think that people living together should be more alike, but they're not. And the way we understand this is that when people are living together with their relatives, it's the genes that account for the similarities. It's not the shared environment. But the environment clearly comes in because it's the idiosyncratic individual experiences that people have outside their families, such as taking a certain class or taking a trip or experiencing a trauma, that impact personality. Doppelgangers is the lookalikes who are unrelated. Now, many people think that they should be very similar in personality. I thought that was a complete misreading of behavior, because behavior is not in your face, behavior is in your brain. So anyway, I've done this with several replications and several different personality questionnaires, and I'm right that the personality resemblance is about correlation of 0.4, close to 0. So it's really not there.